Hello everyone. Today in this video, I'm going to show you 5 strategies to pass the PMP exam in first attempt. More importantly, I will give you my number one secret. Unfortunately, if you failed the PMP certification exam in your earlier attempts, then trust me, after watching this video, you will say, why didn't learn these PMP techniques earlier? Why didn't anyone explain me these PMP certification concepts in simple layman language? My team and I use these PMP techniques like Einstein technique, my famous father-child theory, Neil Armstrong technique. And most important, I call this as like my world famous elimination technique. We use these PMP techniques day in and day out, and we give thousands of PMPs every year. Just to give you a glance, in this year itself, we have given close to 620 PMPs in this industry. And these are real people who have emailed me and my team. However, my EduHubSpot platform is used by thousands of people. And trust me, not everyone is kind enough to send us an email and share their story. By the way, I'm recording this video on July 31st. So if you're seeing this video on some other time, let me just tell you that that's July 31st. It's been around 6 months in this year, and you can see the results on your own. By the end of this video, you will see how my number one, I call it like my weird number one PMP secret, will help you pass the PMP exam. By the way, who am I? My name is Varun, and I am the founder of EduHubSpot, a training company which teaches PMP, ACP, PGMP, PFMP, SAFE, DSSM. You just name it, and we do it. So let's go right into it. Now, before I even start talking about these strategies, few years back, I recorded a similar PMP exam questions video where I shared 25 PMP exam questions. I got a lot of love. More than 7,000 people commented on that, and I personally replied to each and every comment. I'm not telling a lie, I personally replied to each and every comment. Yes, YouTube is very close to me, and I personally do this. Not my team, I personally do this. So, I have a request to you. I will be explaining these 5 strategies in form of multiple choice questions. We will do a PMP practice question and I'll give you 1 minute, 60 seconds to answer this question. Over here, don't think that you are watching a video. Just imagine I'm in front of you and you are doing these PMP questions in a classroom in front of me. I want you to write a comment with the question number and your correct explanation below. Yes, just don't give me that it's C, B, D. No, I want to make sure you give me a reasoning for why A is correct or B is correct or C is correct. I promise. I kept my promise in my earlier PMP questions and answer video. I'll keep my promise this time also that I will reply to each and every comment I got. So let's go right into it. As I told you, this is my first question for you, and I want you to give me a reasoning why you selected the answer, and I'll be giving you 60 seconds. Now, this is a drag and drop question. It's a new question type which PMP, recently introduced. I won't call it recently, but yes, it's been some months. So, what you need to do and how you can comment it out. So, basically, these options are your A, B, C, and D. And these are your 1, 2, 3, and 4. How I want you to write in the comment is, let's say the correct answer for A is 4. Again, I have not read the question yet. So you'll write A is 4. Let's say B is 2. Right? B is 2. So that's how I want you to write. And on top of that, give me a reasoning. I'll share with you each and every. So let me start the pointer. Let me start the timer for you and then we will begin. Okay, time is up. Now, as I told you, this is your, I think I said A, right? A, B, C, and D. If you have not been able to complete this question yet, I want you to pause the video and I want you to think about it and then do it. Remember, you have 180 questions in the real PMP and you have 230 minutes. If you calculate, it comes out to be approximately 1.2. Oops, 1.2 minutes every question. So that's why I'm giving you 60 seconds, which is close to 1 minute, just to make it a little harder for you. In this question, I will be using my number one technique. Again, the example which I'm giving you is the number one, but this is in reality is not my favorite one. My favorite one will come later. I call this technique as diagonal technique, diagonal relationship technique, diagonal relationship technique. Okay. I don't know how I came up with this idea, but my students love me for this technique. Let me show you how this is done. So again, this is a drag and drop question, a new question type. What you do in this question is you read a question and you write down the keywords in the order they are coming. Once you write down the keywords in the order they are coming, you flip it. You flip. The correct answer would be the flipped version for it. So let's see. Let me show you how it is done in action. Window frames are required to be fully assembled before paint work can finish. Okay, so over here I see there are two keywords which are synonymous to start or finish. First is assembled, which is, I would say, kind of assembled, means you completed, you assembled it, right? So this is your finish. Okay, before paint work can finish, and they have given the word straightforward finish. So it's finish to finish. The correct answer would be the flipped version of it, which is also finish to finish. Again, if you flip finish to finish and finish to it will always come. So basically, B goes with 1. Okay, next again, if you want me to explain you the logic how it is coming, of course we can talk offline about it. I'll be more than happy to help you out. My direct email address is varun.anand at eduhubspot.com. Varun.anand at eduhubspot.com. You can send it and we can definitely talk in more detail, or you can write in the comment below and I will definitely answer it to you. So let's see the next one. Installation of shower valve cannot start until the bathroom is fully constructed. Means you have fully constructed it, means it's finished, like you finished, completed it, right? So you write down it's start dash fully constructed. Constructed, it's synonymous to finish. So start hyphen finish. The correct answer would be the flipped version of it, which is finish dot start. So basically, this finish to start will go here. Third one, old building cannot be shut down. Shut down means complete until the government approval process has started. So what is shut down? Finish dash until the government approval process has started. Finish dash start. The answer would be the flipped version of it, which is start dash finish, which is this one. So this is going here. And finally, leveling of ground cannot be initiated. Initiated means you're starting something. Starting until the foundation of parking lot begins. Begins also is start. So start hyphen start. The flipped version is also start dash start, which is this one. So if you see how I was easily able to, get the answers. This technique is my first technique, which is my diagonal relationship. And if you say this is wow, I loved it, then just wait for my other techniques. And I'm going to tell you, you would simply love it. Trust me on this. So let's see. Let me submit the answers and then we will go about that. So I said window frames are required before paint work can finish. So it was finish to finish. So for this finish to finish goes here. Cannot start until the constructed. So this was, I think, start dash finish. So finish dot start. This is going here. And I think this one was start to start, I remember. And this one is start to finish. And I submitted the answer. Finish to start to finish, start to finish, start to start. I hope you liked it. Let's go to question number 2 now. I'm starting the timer now. Okay, so the time is up. Again, guys, if you are getting question wrong or right, it's okay. It's just the second question. I want you to make sure this video is not to demotivate you or to even motivate you. This question is just to make sure you understand the concepts behind each and every question. I want you to learn how I am Varun as a mentor. Is going through each and every question. This is how you have to apply the same concepts, logic in your real PMP exam. So again, it's okay to make mistakes, but let's see how we do it. And this one, you are the head of operations of a high productive agile innovation team. You have informed the product owner that the company is not getting a solid return on investment from team's work. So basically, the problem over here is return of investment. You're not getting. Which of the following options details out as to how should the product owner address the problem? Okay, once again, don't assume things which are not given to you in the question. This is very, very important. We unnecessarily assume so many things and we make a mistake. I don't want you to assume anything. Whatever is given to you, just stick to that. In this question, I'm going to use I call it as Neil Armstrong, Neil Armstrong technique. Okay, why I use this word Neil Armstrong is I think Neil was the first one who actually landed on moon. He was the first astronaut to do that. If I ask you this question, do you know who was the second person to land on moon? I don't know if you know it or not. I honestly don't know. But what I'm trying to tell you is that's how I gave this name Neil Armstrong technique. What do I mean by that is I want you to do always, even if the question is not asking you, always pick the answer which it says that this is the first thing you will do. You may get a lot of correct answer choices, but we don't have to select the correct answer choice. What we have to select is the first thing you will do it on the project. In this case, you are a product owner, and think from that. Okay. Oh, sorry, you are head of operations. That's what is given. So my bad. Let's see. So basically, you have to see the company is not getting a solid return on investment. Let's see. A, run a retrospective with the project manager and go ahead with project cancellation. Okay, you can definitely do a retrospective in order to find it, but the question says go ahead with project cancellation. This is too extreme of a choice. Never ever select extreme choices. Remember, another technique, another keyword I'm giving you, never select extreme choices. So, where it says project cancellation, you may do it, but definitely this will not be my first step. That's why Neil Armstrong technique. B. Come out with minimum marketing features and prioritize relevant backlog items. Yes, that's a good choice. You can definitely do that. Let's keep it for some time. C. Lessen the number of team members as and when necessary to guarantee a positive ROI. Once again, too extreme choice. Like where you are letting go some team members. You should not, like again, I can do that, but this is definitely not my first option. So B is out as well. C. Come out with minimum viable product with the team and prioritize relevant backlog items. Okay, so if you see, both B and D are almost similar. The only difference is this is minimum marketing feature and this is minimum viable product. So if you don't know the meaning between these two, you cannot get the answer correct. So let's first understand the difference between minimum marketing feature and minimum viable product. I'm sure most of you may have already saw this word. What do you call it? Minimum viable, minimum marketing. Sorry, minimum viable product. What is MVP is that if I want to launch a product in the market, I would think from this perspective that this is the minimum thing that my users would like to have. So minimum viable product is something where you are launching based upon the thought process that this is the minimum features that should have. Minimum marketing features is little different. What do I like? Typically I've seen you make MVPs and then you come up with the marketing features. Marketing features is the feature which would actually sell. So this is the minimum feature. When I launch it to the market, this will be selling. People would love it. People would buy it. So now what was the question? If you see, question was, you have informed the product company is not getting a solid return on investment. So basically, there is no ROI and you want something to be sellable, which is your minimum marketing features, which will be a better approach as compared to minimum viable. So the correct answer should be B. And B is my correct choice. Let's move to the next one. I'm starting the timer now for question number 3. Okay, so time is up. Now we are on question number 3 and I'm going to read it to you. But before I read it to you, I wanted to show you something. This logo which you are seeing over here is PMI ATP logo. What is PMI ATP? What is ATP basically? ATP stands for Authorized Training Partner of PMI. So PMI, on starting of this year, they came up with this concept of ATP, which are their approved training partners. PMI gave us real PMP questions, real actual cloned PMP questions, which were given to us. And what was told to us that we can share these questions with our students. So someone who signs up for the boot camp, who are part of a live class where we use PMI slides and everything to teach, we can share it with them. We are a premier ATP and that's why we have it. However, we can rephrase these questions for ourselves and I can share it, I'm allowed to share it with everyone. So that's where it is. These questions are not exactly coming from PMI. However, we have rephrased it to make sure that, it's like kind of very, very close to PMP questions. Again, let's see this question. So this is third question and I can see select two, I'm looking at it. This is the third question and another new question type where we are selecting two answer choices. This was something which also recently came in, a couple of months back. Let's see. As per the quarterly results, the prices were being driven down by the competitors. Okay. This is causing the company to lose the market share. So company is losing the market share because the prices are going down by the competitors. Also, midway into the product development project, it appears as though the sponsoring unit is unlikely to get return on their investment. Like last questions, like last question also we are not getting a return, and same is the case here. Which of the following options must be done by the project manager to adapt to these new conditions? Guys, if you see over here, the 25 questions I'm going to share with you in these in this particular video, they are scenario based questions And in PMI exam, don't expect straightforward question. You will get questions like these where they will ask you, what will you do next? And that's exactly what I'm giving it to you. This is a true question. If you have been practicing on some bad material where straightforward one-liners questions are coming, these are not good questions. Just throw that material in the garbage because that's not going to help you. Let's see. So what's the problem here? Prices are being driven down first. Secondly, company is losing market share and they are not getting the return on investment. What will you do? A, come up with cost benefit analysis of deliverables to help optimize speed and delivery cost. A good choice, definitely. B, deliver the same features as the competitors by rescoping the project to match the pricing of competitors. Okay, so let's assume the competitors are, delivering some lower quality features, and because of that, their prices are down. So, do you want to do the same thing? Don't you want to come up with something better? I mean, I we can do this, but definitely, like in my case also, I have a lot of competitors who are doing PMP training, and their prices, my prices, there is difference. For some cases, I am expensive. For some cases, I am, cheaper than them. But again, I have never ever compromised on quality. So I would never do option B. C. Replace local staff by outside staff incrementally who can work at much less. Again, if you remember in the last question, I showed you don't go for extreme choices. Pick the Neil Armstrong technique. What is Neil Armstrong technique? Pick the first answer choice. Would you straight away replace? No, I would not do that. D. Split out an agile track to incrementally maximize value within a fixed budget. Okay, so they have a problem with market share, return on investment, and they are saying to incrementally. A good choice. Let me keep it. And last, E. In order to help deliver the intended scope with less overhead cost, fast track the remainder of the project. So basically, for the remainder of the project, what you are doing is you are fast tracking. What is fast tracking? You do multiple things at the same time. But uh, I mean, did you really find out the problem? Did you actually resolve the problem in the question? Just by fast tracking, I don't think so. The problem would be resolved, which is related to, losing market share, not getting return on investment. So I kind of, I'm okay with this, but not really my best choice. So honestly, I didn't even give you a reasoning of why A and D is like better are correct, but I definitely know that A and D are better choices than B, C, and E. Just because of that reason, A and D are better answer choices. And the technique which I used over here is Einstein technique. Okay, I don't know the spellings of Einstein, so just don't make fun of me. It's Einstein technique. What is my Einstein technique? Einstein, I would say, was like, the number one problem solver. I would like he used to solve the problems in order to, we all know who Einstein is, right? So Einstein, which is a problem solving technique. Pick the answer choice where you resolve the problem. Problem was losing market share. Problem was pricing being down. Problem was not getting return on investment. Come up with cost benefit analysis. See which is cost, what is benefit. Of course, we want more benefit to help optimize speed, which is a more practical approach as compared to option E. Similarly, D, split down an agile to incrementally maximize value. So basically, incrementally, you are coming up with new and new solutions. Like, we did MMF, minimum marketing features, right? One or other question, I think two, question number two. Same thing. What were we doing? We were incrementally maximizing the value, which is option. So correct answer should be A and D. Okay. Next question is question number 4, and I'm gonna start the timer now. Okay, time is up. Let's see. Disruptive competitors with new business models are causing a company to lose its market share. Damn, man. For every question, I can see that it's about competitors losing market share and all. I think I'm too scared of my competitors. No, I'm not scared. But yes, let's see. In order to recommend ways to recover market share, a cross functional agile team has been constituted. Which of the following ways tells about how can the team increase their chance of coming up with successful recommendations? Okay, losing market share is the problem and they are expecting team to come up with successful recommendations. Okay, what should we do? Understand and focus on the value consumers seek and the value competitors offer. Very good choice. Of course, you want to see what your end user need, like my students. I know that they can read PMBOK and it's dry, boring. You can go through the entire PMBOK and still doesn't understand. So that was the problem for me. And I said, you know what? Let me come up with a logical solution where people can understand, which is these question explanation videos where I am explaining more than 1,000 plus questions in this format. So that was a value. Okay. And by the way, none of my competitors do that. So that's a good choice. B, come out with an understanding as to how competitors' business models can reach more consumer at a lower cost. Yeah, that could happen, but it says how competitive business can reach more. Of course, you can come up with some recommendations. I won't say this is a bad choice, but you are more concentrating on competitor and you're not concentrating on the consumer. It honestly should be both. Combination of competitor plus consumer. So if I compare A and B, I kind of like A more than B. C, enable profitable delivery of high quality, unique, and innovatable products. Okay, that's a good choice. I'm not denying that. Let's keep it. D, come up with deeper understanding about why consumers are disappointed by the company's product. Okay, so if you say that why consumers are disappointed, first of all, consumers are not disappointed. Nowhere in the question it says that the end user is disappointed by the company. They are saying that the competitors are bringing the price down. So over it's a misinterpretation. So D is out. So now I have two answer choices, which is A and C. Let me read it out again. A says understand the focus on the value consumer seeks and the value competitors offer. So basically doing kind of a understanding both the things. So it's a good choice. C, enable profitable delivery of high quality. Of course, you can do that. Unique and innovative products. Okay, you can do innovatable products. I'm not denying that, but would that be your first answer choice? Neil Armstrong technique, think of that. Would that be like, do you really want to come up with something unique and innovative product? Yes, of course I want to do that, but you have to understand the competitor standpoint also. You can do that, but this will definitely not be my first answer choice to come up with something innovative. No, something unique. No, first I want to understand what is my competitor offering, then I can come up with an innovative product. So for me, A is a better answer choice, and the correct answer is A. Okay, next is question number 5, starting the timer now. Time is up. Question number 5. Let me do it for you. You're part of an agile team that is struggling to solve a blocking issue with packaging design. Okay, guys, so far, if you see, I'm kind of, very much focusing on agile because agile is very, very important for the PMP exam. Like, so that's the reason I'm focusing on quality, not on quantity. I'm focusing on agile questions because these are good quality questions. And if you see, all 25 questions would be scenario based question. Again, if you're getting questions wrong, it's okay. Don't feel bad. My point is not to demotivate you. My point is to make sure you understand the logic and concept behind every question. Trust me, by end of this video, you will learn so much from this that whatever you would have done so far or whatever you have been doing so far, you will thank me for that. And I know that you will thank me for that. So, okay, let me come back. You're part of an agile team that is struggling to solve a blocking issue with packaging design. The team eventually finds a solution. So the problem is packaging design. So there's a blocking issue. Okay. Team eventually finds a solution, but the solution requires a different product format. Okay. So the solution will require, product to be changed somehow. Okay. Which of the following would you recommend your team to do before further developing the solution at hand? Okay. Once again, over here, you have to select the first stuff, the Neil Armstrong technique. Pick the first answer choice. What will you do? A. Verify whether change is consistent with the vision of the product. Okay, you can do that. I am not denying that. Good choice. B. Come out with a prototype and demo it to the end user. Okay, end user, I would say, is kind of too extreme. First of all, you are a part of an agile team. So if you're a part of an agile team, it's not necessary that you will be working with end user. It's not, and it's kind of extreme. B is gone. Execute a cost benefit analysis to determine its value. Okay, another good choice. I'm not denying that. D. Tell the product owner to approve the change. Okay, now, if you eliminated this answer choice D, I would say no, you cannot eliminate this choice because let's read the question again. Honestly, you know what? Now I've read all the answers. For me, D is favorite, and I'll show it to you how. You are part of an that is struggling to solve a blocking issue. So, problem is blocking. The team eventually finds, but there are different product formats. So, you are a part of agile team. You can only recommend it to the product owner, but ultimately any changes related to product has to come from the product owner, not from you who is a part of an agile team. You can recommend it, but ultimately it has to come from product owner. Where it says tell the product owner to approve, that makes sense. Execute a cost benefit to determine its value. Okay, you will do that, but what if product owner does not approve the change? Why would you waste your time on cost benefit analysis? So C is not my next step. A, verify whether change is consistent with the vision of the product. Again, it is not your job to make sure that it is consistent with the vision of the product. It's the job of the product owner. So first you will ask the product owner, then product owner may do all these steps which are required. So picking the best answer choice, picking the first answer choice which you do, which is our Neil Armstrong technique. So once again, using Neil Armstrong technique, we found out that the correct choice should be D, and the correct answer choice is D. Okay, this is question number 6. I'm just gonna do it for you. This is question 6. Once again, this is one. Oh, this is, I think, sorry, A, B, C, and D. If you're not able to, I want you to write down in the comment section what is your response. Trust me, guys, I will be answering to, replying to each and every question. So this is your 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me the reasoning. A is, let's say, 2. B is, let's say, 3. I've not read the question again. So I want you to write the answer in the comment and I want you to give me the reasoning. Don't just do this. Give me a reasoning also. Very, very important. Okay. Okay, time is up. This was question number 6. Um, let's see. Tatiana's project has been hit by a lot of negative risks lately. Okay, for each of the risks, her team has identified risk response technique has been added against that. She is reviewing her risk register to understand which response should be match each. Okay, so basically over here we have a scenario, and over here we have the risk response technique. We just have to do a drag and drop. Now, uh, it's a drag and drop new answer, new question type. Let's see. Uh, and first of all, this guys is a very important. Risk response techniques are very important. So make sure you clearly understand. If you want, I have a video on risk management where I've explained the risk response techniques. You can, go to my website also, but don't go it now. I want to make sure first you finish all the 25 questions, and then you can go to the website to watch the video on risk. Let's see. A risk which may impact other projects going on in the organization. Tatiana decided to take senior management help. Okay, so if you're going to senior management, that's what the response she is doing. First of all, Tatiana is actually one of my ex-student who, passed the PMP exam. I just used her name. So sorry, Tatiana, if you're watching this, but I think you have already cleared the PMP so far. So, anyways, so if Tatiana decided to take senior management's help, this means that's escalate actually. Escalate means you a risk response is not in your control and you go to senior. Both applies for a positive or a negative risk. B. Tatiana, after talking to procurement team, decided to add a warranty clause within a contract. Okay. If suppliers are delayed, the third party vendor will be responsible. So basically, a third party will be responsible. So honestly, you kind of transferred your risk. So what is transfer? When you give it to someone else, like you buy an insurance, like a health insurance, right? So if something happens, then the insurance company will pay, right? That's transfer. You transfer your risk to the insurance company. Same logic over here. You have a warranty clause which is taking care of it. C. Tatiana worked with her team to develop a prototype of a complicated deliverable. Okay. This way the customer can provide early feedback. Okay. So you built a prototype, and then, again, it's a complex. So basically like this video, honestly, before I even launch my video, or once initially only my students will be watching it. When I say my students, I mean people who are part of my PMP programs, like my boot camp, my mentor programs, because I want them to be, these are my students, so I have my allegiance towards them. So they will be the one who will be doing that for me first before I even launch it for everyone. So this one looks like it's a mitigate option. So what is mitigate? Mitigate is when you try to reduce the probability and an impact of that risk. So, by launching this video, by showing it to my mentor program, my bootcamp students first, I'm trying to make sure that if I do a blunder, or if there's some issues, they are the ones who can tell me about that. So mitigate goes over there. Next, one deliverable may significantly jeopardize the end date of the Tatiana point discussing decided to remove the deliverable out of the scope. So basically, and that's the only one which is left, is avoid. So what is avoid? You don't do that activity at all. Like for example, someone is scared of the PMP exam, and that person decided that I'm not going to sit for the PMP exam. That means that person avoided the risk of failing the PMP exam. Again, guys, I don't like those people. I simply hate it. Hate is a too big of a word, honestly. I should not use it, but I don't like those people who give up. You should not give up. And if you have failed in the past, guys, please don't worry. Reach out to me. You have my email address. I'm giving you my email address. Reach out to me, varun.anand@eduhubspot.com. I have people who have failed the exam 7 times, and after that they pass the exam. So this is very much possible. You just need a right mentor. That's what I will say. Okay, so this one was escalate. This was warranty, which was transfer. To prototype was mitigate, and avoid was this one. Okay, submitting the answer. Perfect. Okay, next question is question number 7. You can see at the bottom it says inform the team meeting definition of ready. So this is definition of ready, just FYI. So I'm starting the timer. Please make sure you are with me. You're not watching a video. You are in front of, in a class with me. That's what my students tell me that. Varun, when I was solving the real PMP, I could literally feel that you are sitting with me, who is helping me out. That's what I want to do. Make sure you write down the answer choices. Give me an explanation. I promise I will be replying for sure. So here you go. I'm starting the timer now. Okay, time is up. Let's see. The IT integration team has a major setback in a hybrid project. A lot of my students are telling me these days they are getting hybrid questions a lot. So I thought, why not? Let me add a hybrid question then. Testing has confirmed, and it's not just one question, I've added many. Right now, it's all about agile and hybrid. So you will get a lot of scenario based questions in these 25 questions on these topics. And trust me, you'll learn a lot. Testing has confirmed that the hardware does not support the target operating system. The Agile Team software releases must not run on a later operating system version. What should the project manager do next? Okay, a lot of my students, when they come to me, they say that, Varun, I'm from construction background, I am from healthcare, I have no clue about how IT works. It's okay. In this question also, they use some IT terms, but this does not mean that you cannot solve the answer. You have to understand the concept behind it. Just all these are just distractors like operating systems and stuff. PMI exam is not about one industry type. Remember that. Okay, let's see. Let me read the question again because I lost the track. It says the IT integration team has a major setback in a hybrid project. Testing has confirmed that the hardware does not support the target operating. Okay, so there's some problem with hardware. The agile team software must now run on a later version. Okay, so going back most likely. What should the project manager do next? Always remember the first thing you will do. Second, always resolve the problem. And third, most importantly, use my world famous elimination technique. I have been using this elimination technique a lot. I just didn't, use these words specifically, but make sure you are using this. Okay, so let's see. A, meet with the Scrum Master to determine if the product vision is still valid. First of all, doesn't make sense. Why? Scrum Master, product vision. Product vision should come from product owner, not from Scrum Master. Gone. B, interrupt the sprint to meet with the product owner and the team to update the product backlog. Why not? This can definitely be the right answer choice. You can talk to the product owner for that. C, work with the agile team to run root cause analysis on why the problem did not surface earlier. Okay, you can do that, but let's just imagine running the root cause analysis takes you 3 days or 4 days. Would you just let the team continue working on this? I mean, no, right? You will do some action. So you can definitely do root cause, but will you do that as the first part? Gone. And if you ask me personally, I think they have already done the root cause. The question says testing has confirmed hardware does not support the target operating system. So basically, that's the problem. They have already found out the root cause that it's not supporting the right. So honestly, C is already done. D, Inform the team at the daily meeting and update the definition of done and definition of ready. So first of all, they're talking about daily meeting. And if you don't know what definition of done and definition of ready is, again, you have to watch my agile video because over there I've explained you. But definition of done means that like for example, this video which I'm sharing it with you, my definition of ready was that, I have this website where I can show all the questions. My pen is working, my timer is working, my ATP logo is working. All these things were definition of ready, but definition of done means that once it is ready, I can launch it, I can share it with you all to learn from. That's my definition of done, that it should be production ready. Now the question says, inform the team at the daily meeting and update the, you don't update DOD and DOR in daily meeting. Daily meeting is just for 15 minutes and you talk about what was done yesterday, what will you do today, and what are the risks. So you don't do this at all. So D is gone as well. Honestly, even though you can think that how come you are interrupting the sprint, A, C, D are definitely out. B is my correct answer choice. Move to the next one. Okay, time is up. Let's see. You're a project manager of XYZ firm. Your firm's marketing director is unhappy that the agile innovation team is coming up with too many novelty products with very little business value. Okay, so the problem is too many products with less value. Which of the following action should the project manager take to rectify the team's approach? So basically, you have to resolve a problem. You have to select two answer choices. Okay, once again, if you have not done it without listening to my reasoning, stop, correct the correct, pause my video, think what is correct, give your reasoning, and see if your reasoning is correct or not. Mention that in the comments. Let's see. A, increase the story sizes to incorporate more valuable features. Okay, you first of all, yes, that's a problem. You're coming up with too many products with little value. So basically, you need value products. So with adding more valuable features, the problem would be resolved. But it says increase the story sizes. Like if the current story size is, let's say, 2 units, you're saying just make it to 4. You don't just increase the story size because you want to. I mean, it has to be like, I mean, if yeah, I would not just go ahead and increase the story size just because I want to. No. B. Survey end users and rank the items in the product backlog as per the survey user value ranking. Okay, it says too many product with little business value. So you want to make sure the end user tells you what they really need, what is something of valuable to them. So this is definitely a good choice. Again, if I get a better choice, I will eliminate B. C. Instruct the team to undertake a training course on direct response marketing. Uh, okay. The team's job is to come up with product and come up with products which are good, I would say. Of course, they need some training which gives them value, but they don't need training on marketing. That's not their job. So I will eliminate C. D. Let the marketing director approve each story by adding a process. Why would unnecessarily you will just include a process in place, like come up with marketing director, approve it. I mean, Now, Agile is about all about simplifying the process. This is all about creating unnecessary headache, if you ask me. So D is out. I think DE should be the correct one, or I think I messed up on something on this question. Let's see. E. Tighten the value criteria in the definition of ready by working with the product owner. Absolutely a very good choice. If you see, problem is with business value, right? Questions talks about value criteria. Yes, you have to do something about value. And secondly, it says definition of ready by working. Of course, you will be working with the product owner. Ultimately, the product comes from product owner. So the correct answer choice should be B and E. I really loved it. Let's see. E and E. Let's see. B and E. And that's it. Yep, it's correct. Looks like I'm a smart guy. B and E. Of course, I know the answers before I'm making this video, but honestly, I'm doing it. So if I make mess up somewhere, you know that it's all we all are humans, but I'm doing it right. Okay, so guys, so far we have done one third of questions. As I told you, total I'll be doing 25 questions, and I have decided something new, in this. And what is this something new is that one third, like after question 8 and after question 16, I'm gonna show you something. I know you guys might be tired. I'm not. I'm kind of excited because I think you're learning and I'm enjoying the process. Whenever I teach, I just enjoy a lot. So if you're kind of tired, I want to show you something. And what is that? A funny story outside of this studies and all. And that funny story is that you all know, COVID hit, and I didn't go out at all. And you know what, I was contemplating that, should I wear a t-shirt for this video, should I wear a suit, or I know ultimately it's all about understanding, but I was confused. And I thought, should I keep my, hair like, with a ponytail, or should I, keep it open? So, then ultimately I decided that, I would keep it, like make it a ponytail, because I thought you will not take me seriously like this. I know a lot of people already know me. They have, like I've helped them to pass the exam, but I thought, for folks who know me, who don't know me, I don't want them to feel like that, hey, who is this guy? So just to make sure that, I am some cool professor who is making sure you pass the PMP exam, I decided to go with this ponytail. Okay. So if I messed up with my hair, sorry. But once again, let's start with the next question. Okay. Let me start the timer. Okay, time is up. Let's see. There has been number of uncompleted stories at the end of iterations. Okay, uncompleted stories. Multiple team members worked on these stories and there were no blockers identified. Okay, so there were no blockers, but still it's uncompleted stories. Okay, which of the following option can the agile teams resort to resolve this situation? So basically, what they are asking us is they want to make sure that we come up with the resolution, a problem solving, which is our Einstein technique. So we'll use our Einstein problem solving technique. A, make sure of the next iteration to come out with the team spike that would help determine the feasibility of completing the planned user stories. Okay, so first of all, what is spike? If you don't know what spike is, I've explained all the different types of spike, like architectural spike, risk spike, in my agile videos on my website, www.eduhubspot.com. Don't go now. You have to learn first from these 25 videos, and then we will 25 questions, and then we'll go there. So spike is all about, like, you have a problem in hand and you conduct a spike, let's say a sprint, where in that particular sprint you are not developing something, you are just coming up with a solution to make sure that that problem is resolved. So we kind of say that, whatever the output of spike is, it's like a throwaway code. So that's what you can do. Okay, so throwaway code. So it can be a good choice. I'm not denying that. Let's keep it for a while. B, insert the stories in the blocked column and work with the product owner to remove the impediments. Okay, first of all, the job of a product owner is, first of all, the job of a scrum master is to remove impediments, the problems which are happening. Product owner's job is to make sure that anything related to product would be resolved. The question is that the problem is not with the product, because it says no blockers identified. It's just they have uncompleted story. So D is not kind of right choice. I think A is better than B. So I'm eliminating D because of that. C, further break down the stories in the backlog by working with the product owner and update the definition of ready. Okay, this is a good choice. Why? It says uncompleted stories, no blockers identified. So honestly, it kind of looked like that those stories are big, that they were not able to complete it within that particular sprint or iteration, and you want to make it into smaller chunks so that it could be finished. So C is a better choice. It's a very good choice, actually. Now I can see that, out of A and C, C looks like a better choice. But let's see. D, insert the stories back into the product backlog and wait for less intensive iteration to work on them. Okay, first of all, in D, you're not resolving the problem. Problem is uncompleted stories. So have a resolution for uncompleted stories. In C, you're taking an action. You're a problem solver. You are being an Einstein. So D is not a good choice. Now let's see the difference between A and C. A says, make use of next iteration to come out with a team spike that would help determine the feasibility of completing the planned user stories. So over here, you're coming up with some kind of spike where you're trying to find out the problem. But honestly, there is no problem. Question clearly says there are no blockers identified. It's just about uncompleted stories. If it's an uncompleted story, this means it's kind of big and you want to have to break it down. So out of all, C is definitely the best answer choice. And C is the correct choice. So, good job, Varun. Okay, your time starts now. Okay, time up. Let's see. Two of your resources, Ron and Susie, are having a conflict on an important project deliverable. Both Ron and Susie reached out to you for help to take a decision to move forward. Match each of the conflict resolutions you may have used with their correct scenario slash definition. Okay, so it's a conflict resolution, another very important topic. So over here you have the resolution types, and over here it's a scenario, and you're just trying to help them. Okay, let's see. You replied to half development as per Ron and other half as per Susie. First of all, both Ron and Susie have also been my students, so I just use name from my students. Uh, so it says half development as per Ron and half development as per Susie. So basically, you're not resolving the problem. You're just kind of coming up with some kind of middle ground, which is honestly a compromise. So you're trying to make sure that Ron is like for instance, if you would have completely gone with Ron, then Susie would have got upset. Similarly, if you would have completely gone with Susie, Ron would have gone upset. So you kind of taken a compromising situation where you did half half. So that's compromise. Next, I don't have time to deal with this right now. You both can take a decision on your own. So basically, you are nowhere in the discussion. You just completely move yourself out. That's avoid. You just avoided the conflict. You said you guys are smart enough. Take it on your own. You reply, I heard that you both did a great job in resolve the phase one issues. Okay, good job and keep it up. Okay, the problem over here is having an important. Okay, so over here you're saying you did a great job in resolve the phase one. Good job. Okay, are you talking about the issue over here? You're just trying to motivate them and you're trying to calm them down. That's actually smooth. So in smooth, what happens is you first try to bring both the parties at a level, like you start talking about the good things happening on the project. You start talking about so that both have calmed down, and then you use a problem solve technique basically to resolve a problem where you hit the problem. It's a conflict. You have to resolve the conflict and you deal with the problem and not with the person basically. This question, so only one option is left and I can see it's problem solved, but let's see. It says let's sit and talk about the issue and the reason for favoring one approach over the other. Once we discuss the viewpoints, let's adopt a solution which is good for the project. Exactly, that's problem solved. So over here, you're not just saying that Ron, I'm going with you, or Susie, I'm going with you. You're talking about a problem and you are discussing the problem together so that if let's say you go with what Susie is saying, Ron should be convinced on why we selected the solution from Susie. So that's definitely problem solve. Okay, let me just submit. This one was compromise. This one was avoid. I think this one was smooth I selected and this one was problem solve. Okay, compromise, avoid, smooth, problem solve. Compromise and smooth problem solve. Perfect. And your timer starts now. Okay, time up. So once again, if you have not been able to complete this question yet, pause my video, go through the question and make sure you are answering it, explaining it in the explanation, your explanation in the comment section below. Let's see if you got it what I am saying. Let's see. Question is, you're in charge of an apparel brand. There has been number of highly visible complaints on social networks about your brand's drop in quality. So the problem is with quality. Okay. You are determined to place product quality above all consideration, and with this mission in mind, you help set up a new agile innovation team. Okay. Which of the following methods would be most effective to help achieve the team's goal? Okay. So basically, the problem is drop in quality. So something related to quality has to be resolved. Okay. A. Eliminate human error by creating an automated testing bench. Can you do that? Absolutely, you can do that. But would you do that as the first choice? Nope, nope. First, you have to probably come up with the problem, understand the problem, why there is a drop in quality, and then, yes, if required, then I may go with it. This may definitely not be my first choice. B, come up with a test driven development based on the continuous user focused group inputs. Okay, so over here, you're talking about a test driven development. I'll explain you what test driven development is in some time. It's a good choice. I'll keep it. Come up with the features that help benchmark against the competitor's product. Okay, nowhere in the question for a change is talking about a competitor, but they're talking about that your quality has reduced. So if the quality has reduced, you have to come up with. It's not necessary that the competitor product quality is better than you. No, they didn't. So C is not a choice. D, fund use of better quality materials by raising the product. Oh, okay, so people are complaining about your quality, and now on top of that, you will increase the product price. Oh my God. Then definitely you need a new marketing or a sales guy if that's the approach. So D is definitely out. So now, if you again, once again, I used my world famous elimination technique over here. Okay, people love me for this technique, and if you see, I honestly didn't even explain you what test driven development was. If you really don't know also what test driven development was, still you were able to eliminate option A, C, and D. You know for a fact that A, C, and D are not the correct choice, and the only answer which is left is B, which is the correct answer choice. So that's the beauty of elimination technique. Have a logic that why option A, C, and D are not correct. So you don't find the correct solution, you eliminate the wrong choices. That's my elimination technique. Okay, now let me tell you what test driven development is. Once again, if you need test driven development in detail, that's part of my agile videos on my website www.eduhubspot.com, and where I have explained it. But what is test driven development? So basically, you do a development by first creating a test case. What do I mean by that? So first you create a test case that this is how it should work. So first time it will fail. Why? Because you have not developed the product. Then you start creating the product based on the tests which you will be doing it, which you will be conducted. Then it helps you to understand what the problem area is, what is the solution you have to do. So you always kind of come up with good, better quality product. So test driven development is, I would say, kind of synonymous to come up with good quality product. So B is definitely the best choice. And that's it. That is the correct choice. Okay, next is question number 12. Let's start the timer now. Okay, next question. Despite the team's best effort to address several block items on Kanban board, the items still happen to remain as is. Okay. The sprint retrospective reveals that all the impediments can be traced back to the mandatory corporate business process which introduced wait time. So first of all, it's mandatory. Keep that in mind. Which of the following options should the project manager do next? Okay, so problem is there are several blocked items on Kanban board. They did the root cause. They were able to figure out that the problem is with mandatory corporate business process. Okay, so if it's mandatory, you cannot just remove it. So if any answer choice says remove the process, no, that's not gonna be correct because it's mandatory. I don't know. I'm just giving. I've not even read the option choices yet. A, increase the story point estimates for the stories in product to factor in the process. Again, you can't just increase the story point estimate. So like right now you're saying this story is taking 2 units. Just because you're getting delayed, you'll say no, it should be 4 units. Nah, that's not my choice. B. Get to work with the process owner to streamline procedures. Secure the team coaching. Very good choice. Problem is with the process, business process. So, and you cannot remove it because it's mandatory, right? So, probably you need some coaching. So, B is a good choice. C. Get the team to train on the business process in the upcoming iteration. This would help the team work more autonomously. Okay, Agile is not about working autonomously. No, Agile is all about team collaboration, doing it together and stuff. And first of all, why would you train that in the upcoming iteration? Like, you probably have some training. You will have to figure out what that training is and come up with a solution. Not necessarily it would be upcoming iteration. So between B and C, I mean, B is better. I mean, I can do C also, but B is better for sure. As a servant leader, resolve the pending issues while the team attends a team building event. Okay, problem is happening, and you will say that, okay, go for a team building event. Let's have a pizza party and let's talk about the issue. Your team will say that, okay, man, this is a team building event. Let's leave the work out. Don't mix enjoyment with work, basically. So D is out as well. Okay, out of all the four, using my elimination technique, my number one technique, elimination technique, I found out that B is the correct choice. Let's see. Okay, B is the correct choice. And that's it. B is the correct choice. So question 12, answer B. Next, question number 13, starting the timer now. Okay, time's up. Let's see. You're a project manager of a hybrid project. Once again, hybrid, as I told you, very, very important. That combines the IT integration and the software development task. The predictive and agile team happen to be working in silos, which is in turn resulting in missed schedules. Okay. Which of the following measures will you resort to synchronize their deliverables in better ways? Select two options. Okay. First of all, guys, my students are from all over the world. You don't know the meaning of silos, it's absolutely fine. uh, this is not a English vocabulary test which is going on. But let's try to see what it says. If you don't understand, that's how I'm treating. Again, I'm treating someone as a layman trying to answer a question. So it says the predictive and agile team happen to be working in silos, which in turn resulting in missed schedules. Which of the following measures will help you resolve to synchronize their deliverables? Synchronize means kind of bringing it together. So this means that whatever these two teams are doing, they are not doing it together, and you want to come up with a solution which will bring both the deliverables together. So silos means that you're doing it independently. That's what silos means. So let's see. So you have, again, the solution would be, it's a two answer choice, multiple answer choice, and you have to come up with a solution which is bringing them together. Remember that. A, break down the work packages belonging to IT integration into more granular tasks aligned to software releases. Okay, first of all, the problem is with both IT integration and software development tasks. It's not just with IT integration. Over here, you're kind of resolving the problem of IT integration, not with that. Again, the solution would be something which is bringing them together. So A is gone. B, come up with a common Kanban board to monitor and queue progress of all the delivery from both the teams. Exactly, something which you're doing it together. So B is a good choice. C, limit the features of the software team. Features the software team starts to develop by using predictive schedule of the IT team. Okay, limit the features. So basically, you are saying that hey, software team, you're doing these, we will not do this. We will kind of restrict it. That's what it means. D, come up with an overall dependency network and common milestones that can be used by both. Again, once again, doing it together. So honestly, out of both these answer choices, I really like B and D. So the correct answer should be B and D. So B and D. Oops, oh, there was another E also option. Okay, my bad, guys. Let's see. E, ensure more complete integration to the IT build requirements by increasing the story size. Once again, guys, if you have seen something in common over here, I don't increase the story size. If something is of 2 units, I don't just make it 4. So even though E was not there, I mean, E is not correct. So B answer choice should be B and D. So that should be the correct choice. B and D. That's absolutely correct. Good job, Varun. And good job you if you did it correctly. Let's go to the next one. 14, let me just make sure. Yep, it has D, 4 choices only. I think you can read it now, right? Question 14. Okay, let me start the timer. The launches of new products on time has been seriously impacted by the pandemic. Given that TV ads for the launch dates are already purchased, the project managers needed to find a way to launch the product at the expense of some minor features. Okay. Which of the following features will ensure a successful and timely product launch? Okay, so basically, what's the problem here? That you've already purchased the TV rights, and now what is happening is because of pandemic, there have been some delays. So now what you want to do is you want to give up some minor features so that your product is launched and you can still use your TV ads and all those things. Okay. A, direct the team to discard product tests that are most likely to fail at first attempt and descope the requirement related to those tests. So first of all, you're saying uh, discard the product tests that are most likely to fail at first attempt. If you're using test driven development, then honestly everything would be discarded in that case. But again, I can't assume that you're doing test driven development, so I'll keep it for a while. B, plan an iteration in parallel to come up with requirements of a minimum viable product. Descope any unnecessary tasks that are predictive. Okay, now this is not a bad choice. First of all, you're coming up again, there is some problem, and you want to come up with a minimum viable product, because minimum viable product is the product which is important for your launch and like you can go to the market. Basically, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles which can come at a later stage, but at least you can go. So B is kind of okay. I would say out of A and B, I like B more than A. I'll just eliminate A then. It says C, fast track schedule and come out with a new milestone, test and readiness close to the planned launch date. Okay, the question clearly says that at the expense of some minor features. So this means you have to give up something. And option C, you are saying come up with new milestones, which is close to planned launch date. So kind of you didn't give up anything, you fast track the schedule. So if you think practically, say, oh, this is the best solution. But no, question says that you have to give up something, so you have to give up something. Don't assume too many things. So C is gone. D. Increase the size of the test team to double the current size to ensure that all the defects get detected and corrected as early as possible. Okay, D, definitely a good choice, but can you just go ahead and hire more people? I mean, it's not necessary. What if this means what if you don't get the approval? Getting more people and all those will is definitely a time consuming process. So D is out as well. Out of all four, B is definitely my better choice. And that's correct. Good. So we've done almost, I would say, more than 50% questions are done. I hope you're liking this exercise and you are learning from it. Once again, guys, I want to thank you for doing that. And also, make sure that, you are constantly commenting on the video, telling what the correct answer choice is, because that helps me to understand where you are going. And we are left with how many? Nine more questions? Oh, did I do the math wrong? Around 11 more questions. So we are on the track. 11 more questions. I'm gonna give you some more techniques, so stay tuned with me. I hope you're learning, so you will definitely stay tuned with me if you're learning. Okay, next one we have is our drag and drop question. Okay, time is up. So once again, a drag and drop question. Again, I have added all the new types of questions, scenario, and all of my questions are scenario based, because that's how real PMP exam would be. I want to make sure you practice on real, actual cloned questions, which are very much, similar to real PMP. Okay, so this question now, once, I remember one of my students asked me that, Varun, if I get two match the following correct and the remaining two wrong, will I get full marks or will I get half marks? No, you will get 0 marks. It has to make sure all the four choices are correct. So let's see. The deliverable produced does not meet two of the requirements as mentioned in the requirements document. Okay, so there is a problem and two of the requirements do not meet. Okay, so this means it's a kind of defect repair, I would say, or it's a kind of a corrective action you have to take it from it. So it could be any one of them. But remember, the difference between corrective and defect repair is that defect repair comes with like the end user or basically the customer finds it out. If the customer finds it out, then that's a problem. Like if you find it out in this video that Varun over here, the spellings are wrong, just a hypothetical situation. So that's a defect. That's not a corrective action. Okay, so let's see. The deliverable does not meet two as mentioned the require. I kind of think it's more of a corrective action because nowhere in the question it says that it was like the customer or end user find out. So for now, this, but I may be wrong. Let's see. B. End users complain due to slowness of the product. Okay, end users. That's it. That's definitely defect. So this means this is definitely corrective. All approved change requests should result into updating of plan and documents. Updating, that's updates. And finally, customer wants a better training document on how to use the deliverable. Okay, so you basically wants a better training document. It's more like a preventive action. Like you want to come up with a, uh, you know, something you're trying to resolve the problem, come up with a training document. So first is corrective, second is defect repairs. Okay, let's submit the answers now. Corrective, defect, this was updates, and this was preventive. Let's see. And that's it. Correct. Good job. Okay, let me start the timer. Okay, time is up. Once again, if you have not finished it yet, make sure you pause the video and in the comment section write down the reasoning, your answer choice which you selected. Okay, let's see. It has been 8 months into a strategic agile project. Company executives are closely monitoring the progress. The project director is frustrated about the last weekly burn down chart. Okay, depicting the project completion date significantly moving backwards and forward several times. Okay, which of the following reveals as to how can the project manager forecast the project completion date with more accuracy and stability? Okay, so first of all, if you don't know what burn down chart is, you should know. First of all, like you can refer to my agile videos. I've explained both burn down and burn up chart. Like burn down is like this, like you start like with the, I would say, like the number of user stories which like at the first, let's say you have 30 user stories. Okay, so you completed, let's say, 5. So now over here it's 25, it's 20, it's so it goes down up to 0, the number of work which is left. That's how it is. So it says that the problem is that the project completion dates are moving backward and forward. So definitely something is not right. You want to understand what the problem is. You want a better forecasting method. Okay. A, decrease the frequency of progress reports. That's so funny. I mean, there is a problem. Senior management is saying that I don't know what's going on, and you're saying I will not share the progress report in future. Not sharing the progress report, this means you will not come to know it, and kind of it says go to hell, I don't care. So A is definitely out. B, let the executive committee know about the flexible nature of agile. Okay, you can show, but like you can say that, but that does not mean that your burn down chart would be, sometimes it will move backward, sometimes it will move forward. Now there is a problem. Definitely you have to come up with a solution. Of course, agile is flexible, but over here it's a problem. It's not just about being flexible. So I kind of don't like the C. Go for planning variable size iterations based on story complexity and load. Okay. If you selected option C, let me tell you right away, this is definitely not right. It says variable size iteration. This means, like for example, my first sprint is of 2 weeks, next sprint is of 4 weeks, because I have some I have some what do you call? I have some stories, stories which are of higher sizes. So I'll just increase the story size. No, you don't do that. If it's a 2 week sprint, you will continue to go with 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So C is gone out. Well, definitely D is the correct answer choice. I've not read it even. So this means that's my which technique I have used? The Einstein technique. Resolve the problem. I have used my elimination technique. It's not really the Einstein, but it's actually my elimination technique which I am using here. It says elaborate the upcoming backlog in more details. Of course, there is some problem. You can ask the team, guys, what's happening, why we are delayed. And out of all four, D would definitely be my best choice. D would definitely be my next choice. When I say next, my next step to understand. So out of all four, D is the correct choice. So let me submit the answer now. And that's it. That's the correct choice. Good job. Okay, so we have done question 16. I showed you my hair in question number 8. And now in question 16, so we are almost, one, initially that was one third. Now we have done 16 questions. We are still left with another 9 questions. So give me a minute, not a minute, just give me a few seconds. I'm going to give you another surprise and then we'll move to question number 17, I suppose. Okay, so let me introduce you to someone. Again, question 16 is done. Let me introduce you to someone. There you go. And here is my champ, little champ. I would say he is one of the youngest project managers per se. And why I call him as a project manager? Because he knows how to manage his mom and dad very well. So say hi, say hi. And his name is Veer, Veer. Veer means strong, brave. And say hi to everyone. Say hello. Hello. Hi, Vicha. Hello. And yeah, so he's okay. So what should I say? Just I introduce you. I wanted to, that he's my love, my everything, and he will definitely become. I'm just making him famous because this video is gonna become very famous, and he's in there. So I will show it to him. Once he grows old. So thank you, and then say bye, bye, bye. Okay, this is question number 17, 17, and I'm starting the timer. Make sure you write your answer explanation in the comments below on the YouTube. Okay, time is up. Let's see. Question number 17. Question number 17. Agile team is undertaking custom software development. An equipment vendor is executing a hybrid project, once again, hybrid question, which comprises of work taken forward by the Agile team. Okay. Although the team progress is good, slow customer approval causes a lot of meaningless delays. Okay, so there's a slow customer approval. That's a problem. Customer keeps pressing on that approval can be given only after repeating all the test cases in the target environment. So basically what you are doing some test cases in one environment and the customer wants you to do the test cases in some other environment. When I say environment, it means production, UA, QA, and like not UA is UAT environment, user acceptance testing environment, QA, the testing environment. Okay, by adopting which of the following options can the project manager accelerate the approvals and build customer trust at the same time? So basically, you have to resolve two problems. First, accelerate, there's a problem with the delay, so that we have to, and at the same time, you have to build the customer trust also. So both things. Okay, A, let the team progress at their speed while the customer continues to test and approve earlier builds. Did you even resolve the problem in this case? If you don't do anything at all, it says let the team progress at their speed. You have to improve the speed. So something related to improve the speed should be the correct. B, work out new terms for the team members to work aside their customer counterparts to run tests in their environment. Okay, that's fine because they want to repeat the test in the target environment. And over here, you are saying that, okay, let me run the test in their environment. And so you do what the customer is asking you to do, and that will actually help to increase the like help with the slowness, and at the same time will build the customer trust. So definitely B is a good choice. I'll keep that. C, discuss the possibility of deferring as many tests as possible to the final release. Oh, not at all. What you're doing? You're deferring all the tests to the final release. This means you're not resolving the problem. You are putting the problem to be resolved at a later stage, which is even worse. If you have a problem, again, this is another technique, another trick. If you have a problem, try to resolve the problem immediately and not just wait for the last end moment. So C is definitely out. D, ask the customer to send their representatives to verify the team's testing for pre-approving the test. Okay, so now you are adding another process in place where the customer's representative will pre-approve the test and then you will test, and you actually didn't do the test in their target environment, which they initially asked for. So D cannot fully 100% resolve the problem, where option B is fully resolving the problem. So D is out as well. So out of all four, B is definitely a good answer choice. And that's it. B is the correct choice. Okay, time is up. Question number 18. You're part of an efficient, empowered, agile innovation team. You and your team doesn't understand why the required approvals from legal development department are allowed to delay your team's progress. Okay. You approach your product owner in this regard, who replies that approvals are needed to check for existing patents that block the team's product from going to market. Which of the following options reveals as to how such conflicts can be prevented? Okay, so this question is really about resolving the problem, of course, just like others, but this question is more about prevention. Like how you can make, this is another question type which you will get in PMP exam a lot. One where they will ask you, what will you do next? And sometimes they will ask you, how can you prevent this situation? So this is a very, very important question, like a very good question I can see. A, make sure the product owner explains the team the rationale behind the requirements workflow. Okay, good choice. Not a bad choice, because there's a problem with this and product owner should do that. Okay, A is good. I'll keep that. B, require the team to move a story to the block item in the Kanban board based on their concern about progress. How did you resolve the problem? You just moved it to the blocked item, and what do you want? I mean, would that be resolved on its own? No. Mandate that supporting department stakeholders be present in the daily progress to again mandate, try to shy away, from these kind of extreme words. Mandate, which means you're forcefully asking you to do something. No, C is gone. D, make sure that the product owner can be easily approached to help him answer team's concern. Okay, D is not a bad choice as well. So honestly, A and D are very much related. Option A is saying explain the team the rationale behind the requirement workflow on this particular. Option D is saying that product owner can be used to help him answer team's concern. Okay, so D is honestly, I would say it's kind of a better, because A is talking about this requirement workflow And D is like whenever you need the product owner, he is there, he or she is there to help resolve the problem. So out of A and D, I think D is a better choice. But let's read the question once again just to be 100% correct. You're part of efficient. You and your team understand why the required approvals are allowed to delay your team. You approach the product and who replies that approvals are needed to test existing patents that block the team product from going. Which of the following as to how such conflicts be prevented? So basically, it's not just about this conflict, it's about such type of conflicts. So basically, in order to resolve such type of conflicts, you want the product owner to be available, easily available every time. So out of A and D, D is definitely a better answer choice. And that's correct. Good job. Okay, question 19. Okay, time up. Let's see. Again, a drag and drop question. Let's see. You are managing a highly visible project for an organization. The project sponsor is regularly following up with you on cost you're spending behind maintaining the quality of your products to be delivered. Keep in mind that there are many small products which are being delivered at different phases of match each of the following cost type with the correct. See, guys, one thing I want to tell you is that sometimes the question like in the I call it like garbage information which has nothing to do with this. Like if I would have read this last statement of this question, I really didn't need to know it. Just say which of the following cost type with the correct scenario. So there is a scenario over here and this is the cost they are asking, which is what basically. Now your exam is 180 questions. It's divided into 1 to 60, 61 to 120, and finally 121 to 180. And I'd ask people that 1 to 60 it should take 80 minutes, 61 to 80 minutes, and the last it should 70 minutes. Like it's 80, 80, 70 rule. Total it's 230 minutes, right? That's how I ask people is 80, 80, 70. But just let's take a worst case scenario. If you're not able to come, like in, let's say last 60 questions are left and you only have, let's say 30 minutes left, or let's say 20 minutes are left, and you have 60 more questions. At that time, don't read the question in the beginning. Just read the last statement and try to find the answer. That is something which has helped many of my students who were not able to manage time and they still managed to pass. Like I have students who did not attempt like around 20 questions, 25 questions, and still they passed the exam. So this means whatever they applied, their concepts were super solid. So if you fail, then use this technique. If you are, if you're taking too much time, but if not, then I don't recommend this technique. Let's see. Let's go back to question. First, your project team member found some failures and must scrap the product. Okay, so keyword over here is scrap, and it says project team members, not the external customer, but your team members. So this means that's your internal failure cost, which is when your team members found the issue. Okay. Similarly, if the issue is found out by someone outside, like the end customer, then it's external failure cost. Let's see. B. Due to warranty clause mentioned on the contract, you must redo the work on some of the failures found by the customer. That's exactly what I told you. So that's your external failure costs. Next, testing required to assess the quality of the product. Okay, so testing required. So basically, that's your what you call, I think, appraisal cost. Appraisal cost is basically the testing which you do. And again, this is from your quality management. topic, very important. I've explained this in detail in my quality video on my website. Make sure you go through it. Training required to build a quality product. Okay, so the keyword over here is training, which is a kind of a prevention. So if you have not sat for the exam and you're using this video to help improve your concept, that's your prevention course. You're trying to prevent failing from the exam, and that's what is helping you. So just imagine in this video, I'm explaining you 25 questions. I have explained more than 1000 questions like in this manner. How much, what will you learn if you probably be part of my boot camp, or or mentor programs and stuff. So that's what it is. Let's see, let's attempt the answer choice. Okay, so I think this was internal, this was external. Testing required, which was this, and prevention is training required. So internal, external, appraisal and prevention. Internal, appraisal and prevention. Perfect, good job. Okay, next one. So far, guys, you have done great. I want to thank you. If you're still with me watching this video till the very end, I want to thank you. But I want to make sure you continue with five more questions we have. These five questions would definitely help you a lot, and you will definitely pass the exam. And most importantly, I want to see, if you are my student or if you're not even my students, I want to see what and how you are attempting, how you are approaching to the question, so that I can correct you and I can directly give you my opinion. Once again, my direct email address is varun.anand@eduhubspot.com. So let's do this. Starting the timer now. Okay, time up. Let's see. Question 20. A software product release is on cards. The latest software build did not include the urgent change request implemented by a related project team. Okay, does not include, did not include basically. During one of the daily stand-up meeting, the software product owner had informed about the changes, but no one recorded it. Okay, so the changes came in the stand-up meeting, but nobody documented it. Okay, so that's the problem. How best can the project manager tackle the situation in future? And of course, we want to resolve this problem in future. Okay, A, go for an ad hoc sprint retrospective and add the agreed upon and urgent change request process to the team charter. Okay, so basically what you are saying is, come up with the team chart, like update the process in the team charter if it's an urgent request that you will follow different. And Agile is flexible, so you can do that. So A is a good choice. B, remind the team privately that the role requires proactive and rapid problem solving. Okay, yes, you should remind it, but why privately? I mean, privately, extreme word, again, it's all about collaboration, doing it together. So B is out. See, up the frequency of product backlog refinement meetings and keep noting the changes in sprint retrospectives. Okay, this was a unique situation. Unique situation why there were urgent change requests implemented. So there was an urgent, so you basically need to do something related to urgent change request. That does not mean that you will just increase the backlog refinement meetings because you think that some urgent change requests can come more and more and more. No, just have a process in place for urgent change requests. Out of A and C, I kind of like A more than C. Like, again, I won't just waste my team's time to you know increase the backlog refinement meetings like when there is no change request or urgent change request. So Definitely A is better than C. D. Perform product backlog refining with the team and product owner before the upcoming iteration. Okay, yes, you can do that, but what about future? It's they want to make sure that problems like these should be resolved in future, not just this particular problem. So which is like you have to have mention a process in place, and change request process and all those things are part of your team charter. So these okay, but is definitely for a longer run, for a future case, that this will definitely resolve the problem. So A is a better answer choice, so I'm going with A. Okay, question 21, starting the timer now. Okay, time up. Let's see. Once again, uh, you call it like drag and drop. I will just straight away read the last sentence. Match each of the following techniques with the correct scenarios. So there are the techniques and these are the scenarios. Let's see. You move some of the resources from non-critical path activities to critical path activities so that the project gets completed on time. What is this? You move some of the resources from non-critical path activities to critical path activities. Honestly, that's actually resource smoothing. So what happens in resource smoothing is that you have some non-critical, there is some slack, on non-critical path activities. You move them to the critical path where you want to make sure that critical path is not being impacted, and that's your resource smoothing. So you do that there. Many of the project resources are over allocated and you want to balance the demand and supply. Okay, how would you will do resource leveling? If someone is over allocated, you do resource leveling. That's that always. But again, remember, resource leveling may impact the critical path. Resource smoothing will not impact the critical path. um, See, you plan to do some of the project in parallel instead of sequence. Okay, sequence is your sequential relationship, parallel is your overlapping relationship, and which is kind of fast tracking. You do it in parallel. You want to shorten the duration by adding more resources. If you add more resources, that's your crashing, and if you're adding more resources, this means the cost will increase. Remember that. So that's your cost. Okay, let's submit the answers. Resource leveling went here, smoothing went here, then crashing went here, I believe. Yeah, more resources and fast tracking. So smoothing, leveling, fast tracking, crashing. Smoothing, leveling, fast and crashing. Perfect. Starting the timer now. Okay, time up. Let's see. You are an agile project manager. The agile project that you are managing is at the end with all stories completed on schedule and all tests passed. Okay. However, the customer does not consider the product a success. Okay, everything got completed on schedule and all the tests passed, but still the customer is not happy. Okay, which of the following is most effective way to prevent this outcome in the projects to follow? Okay, I would say if you involve customer more often that way. I don't know. Let's see. A. Obtain customer feedback on incremental release demos and user testing. Yes, that's what exactly I was telling you. I didn't even read the answer choice. B. Make sure that the test plan incorporates non-functional requirements in the backlog. Okay, non-functional requirements are already there in the backlog. So what are you making sure? No, that's out. C. Before developing the product backlog, ensure that the product vision is approved by the customer. Okay, the problem over here, I feel, is not related to vision because it says everything completed on schedule, all tests pass, but something project is still not considered a success. So something is a problem. Like, there is a problem. So I'll keep it. D, it says, come up with an agreement with the customer on success criteria, which are to be integrated with the definition. I'm assuming this would have already been done. I mean, success criteria, all these things had to, like it's a collaboration between customer, product owner, and everyone. They have to come up with. I'm assuming if you're managing a project, this should already been done. What I'm thinking is that still, if the customer is not happy, this means that most likely customer was not really part of, not giving the feedback from time to time, and when the end result came in, the customer was not happy because not everything was fully implemented, or like no, it says all stories were completed, so this means everything was completed, but still, like for example, if you wanted a pen and I didn't create a pen, I created a pencil. If you would have been part of my regular feedback and stuff, you would have told me that, Varun, I need a pen and not really a pencil, which I kind of misinterpreted the user story. So kind of, I feel like A is correct. So I'll go with option A as the correct choice. And that's correct. Let me just read the explanation also, just to make sure. The best way to ensure that product addresses identified and non-identified needs throughout the product development is getting continuous and increment. That's what I said. The incorporated wrong because the product vision and second do not take care of non-express requirements. Also, non must always be included. That's exactly what I said. Good, 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 good. Let's go to the next one. Three more questions. Damn man, I've added so many drag and drop. That's good for you. So learn more. The more you learn these type of questions, the better it will be for you. Starting the timer now. Okay, time is up. Once again, drag and drop. I will not read the question. I'll just read the match each of the following terminology with the correct scenarios. So basically, they're trying to ask what life cycle and what the situation. Another important, lot of people get confused in this. So if you are confused in this, I have a video which is available on YouTube, which you can watch it. And people just told me that, Varun, this, like, I used one example and I showed you how that can be predictive, how can iterative, I increment. People just loved it. You can probably read the comments on that. So Yes, I'll give you the link in the description of this YouTube description, so don't worry. But once again, we have three more questions and three more techniques basically. A, a project where scope will be determined early in the project life cycle, but time and cost will be constantly modified. Team will do series of repeated cycle until it reaches perfection. Okay, by the time I reached the first statement, I was confused. I didn't know the answer. But the moment I read the second statement, I knew what the answer is. The question, it says the team will do series of repeat until it reaches perfection. Keyword over here is perfection. That is honestly your iterative life cycle. Okay, so let me explain you what iterative and incremental is. A lot of people get confused. So iterative is that you tend to work on some requirements. You're working on it, you're constantly working on it. You go back, you show to the customer says no, it's not good, do XYZ. You again go back, you do it, you make sure you do that until it is perfect. So the keyword for iterative is perfect. Incremental, on the other end, is that you want to launch something as quickly as possible to the market. So what you will do is, for you, priority is not perfection. For you, priority is the quickness of the solution, which is like, if you launch something as quickly as possible, that's the best thing for you. That's incremental life cycle. Like for instance, I want to be the first one in the market. What I will do is, I'll just launch my product with MVP. Then once it is launched, I'll constantly update more and more. I will incrementally add more features later, and I'll do more version 1, version 2, version 3. That's incremental. Quickness of solution. That's the keyword. Okay, let's see the next one. A project where scope, cost, and time will be determined in the early phases. Okay, if scope, cost, time is determined in the early, that's your predictive, which means you already know what is. Like for example, my boot camps work on predictive life cycle. Why? Because I already know how much time it will take. I already know how much scope, what exactly is needed for you to pass. I don't give you extra things. I just concentrate to make sure you pass the exam with the right amount of knowledge, nothing less, nothing more. I'll give you exactly. So that's predictive, because I already know what is the scope, how much it will cost you, and the time it will take. So I'll give you predictive life cycle there. Scope is constantly changing for the new deliverable, but rollout of the deliverable would be done in a known phased approach. Okay, so rollout is done in a known, but scope is constantly changing. So kind of, if you use both, that will be perfect, which is your hybrid over here. D, project which needs to be launched as quickly as possible. I told you, right? Quickness of solution, that's your incremental. So the correct answer, let me put the answers now. So I said this is predictive, this is iterative, this was, I think, quickly, and this was. So iterative, predictive, hybrid, incremental. Iterative, predictive, hybrid, incremental. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, question number 24. Come on, starting the timer now. Okay, time is up. Let's see. Company is running an agile software project while company B is running a predictive electronics project. Okay, so one is agile software and another is a predictive. So kind of hybrid. A merger of two companies results in combining the two projects into a single hybrid project. Another hybrid question. A couple of months down the line, the requirements got changed for both the projects. Also, None of the project has a full picture on status or importance of the requirement. Okay. Which of the following means the project can best? Okay, so what is the problem over here? First, the problem is the requirements got changed for both. Okay, that's not a problem that requirement changed. The problem is none of the project has full picture on status or importance of the requirement. So they want to see something together which will give them the status and importance. Okay, let's see. So something collaboratively together would be the answer. So A, incorporate the revised work package and the backlog items into a new master work breakdown structure that ensure progress tracking. Okay, not a bad choice. That can definitely be a good choice. I keep it. B, incorporate the requirement specification into the product backlog and let the electronics team know on how to work. No, damn, no. Again, collaborating together, something together. B is not something together. C. Come up with a requirements traceability matrix by adding product backlog to the requirement specification and outline both the documents as input. Okay, what do I say? Come out with a requirements traceability matrix by adding product backlog to the requirement specification. So you're mixing backlog to the requirement specification, and then you are outlining both. Okay, so both of them become, so basically what they're saying, the product backlog and your requirements document become input to the output, which is RTM. Okay, not a bad choice. That's a good choice also. D, incorporate the product backlog into the requirement specification. Okay, so mixing the same thing what they did here, and let the software team know on how to. No, damn, gone. No, like you're telling one person to, and it says if you see in this, it's kind of, it's not saying that one person will learn the other. It's just saying that we are mixing them together and our team will have both the picture. That's what it says. So C is that. I kind of like C, but let's see. What was A? Incorporate the revised work package. So work package would have come from predictive because that's where it is, and the into a master work breakdown structure. So basically, okay. So they are saying the work, okay. So they're using WBS to track the project in this, and over here they are using RTM to track the progress. So that's the real question, which is better, A or C, uh, for progress tracking? Honestly, I feel like RTM is a better answer choice, so I will go with RTM C, and that's the correct answer choice. So out again, you don't use WBS for progress tracking. I mean, WBS can tell you that who is doing the work, but for progress tracking, you don't use that. So C is definitely a better choice. Yoo-hoo! Last question, and it's a multiple choice question. So first of all, guys, thank you so much. You have been patiently, with me. But after the question 25, I'm gonna tell you some more techniques, tricks, which will help you out if you need my help. I didn't ask you to, subscribe or like the video. The marketing gimmick which all people say. If you like it, you should have done it. But let's see. Okay, let's do question 25th. I'm starting the timer now. Okay, time is up. Let's see. XYZ company is constructing manufacturing plant across 10 countries. The PMO wishes to have more timely project reporting and experience sharing among project geographically separated by large distances. Okay, so it's a big project, 10 countries, right? So and geographically they are in different countries, so there's a problem. Which of the following methods might the PMO borrow from Agile to help in? Okay, the problem is people are located in different countries, different part of the world, and they need something which is common for timely project reporting. That's what it is. Okay. A definition of done, review calls to address definition of done. You can do that, but just I mean, you are geographically located in all the different parts of the world, and I mean, it may be you can, but it's a challenge always. So I'll keep it for now, but I don't like it honestly. B backlog refinement calls, same thing. Kanban board. Okay, you have virtual Kanban boards which you can keep it and everyone can see it on their own. So this is something which is actually used for project reporting. So C is definitely a good choice. But I need one more. Retrospective calls. Okay, retrospective calls. That's another thing. Again, it's a call, so I don't kind of like it. E virtual daily stand-up meetings. Okay, first it specifically says virtual, so you might have selected that. But again, daily stand-up meetings is just too extreme, so I don't like that as well. Okay, now if you see this question, in all three, you see first A is definition of done calls, B is backlog refinement calls, and D is like your retrospective call. So definitely you need to do some calls, something or the other. But which is the best call to make sure everything is timely reporting is being done. People are sharing what's happening now. Definitely, like I honestly, if you ask me, definition of done calls, like it's you're talking about sprint planning, which is something which you will uh, do it like every 2 weeks if it's a 2 weeks. So this is kind of little more often. Backlog refinement calls. Okay, this is something which is not necessarily done like so often. But if you see after every sprint, you might have to do a backlog refinement call. So it could be still little more like honestly, A and B, I feel like that they are almost kind of, the time when they should happen is almost similar. And D, retrospective. Okay, I like this more than A and B. Why? Because retrospective call is not necessarily done after every sprint. It could be once a month also, if it's a 2 week sprint. So the duration of retrospective is lesser as compared to these two. And I think it's actually the retrospective call where you talk about the lessons learned and all those things, which is honestly the right medium. So I would say C and D are the correct answer choice. So we'll go with C and D. C and D. And that's correct. C and D are definitely the correct answer choice. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, I hope you liked my video and learned a lot from the same. If yes, I have a small request now, and I'll be very honest with you. I want to make sure that you know about it. So, how YouTube works is that they want to know if it's a good video or a bad video, and how YouTube knows that this is a good video only if after watching this video you like and subscribe to this channel. That's why you see everyone asking you to like and subscribe, but this is the real reason. If you don't do it, then how YouTube thinks is that hey, these many number of people watched this video and still they didn't like or subscribe the channel, so this means it's a bad video. So please, I have a humble request. I want to make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. And if you, of course, if you liked it, do that. If you learned something from this, please do that. More importantly, another reason why I wanted you to, like and subscribe this channel is that I'm coming up with new videos now, and my team and I, we do free weekly YouTube live sessions. Like questions, we did 25, we do 10 questions like on a weekly basis. So if you are subscribed, then you will automatically get a notification from YouTube that hey, this Thursday is next YouTube live. Also, don't forget, what I just explained is just 25 questions. In reality, I have more than 1,000 plus questions, again, scenario based questions explained in this similar manner. Just imagine how much you learn from these 25 questions. And if I explain more than 1,000 plus questions in the same manner using my PMP techniques, just imagine the amount of learning you would get. All this is available on my website www.eduhubspot.com. The website address is in the description of YouTube also. And thank you. And I hope I actually tend to teach you through my boot camp or my mentor program or any of my programs or my one on one, whatever you like. And thank you. Have a good day.